Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to expose what might honestly be the biggest tech marketing scam of the decade. We've all been there, right? You buy this massive, heavy power bank, toss it in your bag, and then it mysteriously dies halfway through a flight exactly when you need it most. Why does that happen? Well, because marketing departments absolutely love giant numbers, and the strict laws of thermodynamics literally could not care less about marketing. So, we're going to use the omniscient technology report to shatter these illusions and teach you the actual physics of mobile power.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the great mAh deception, figure out where your power actually went, master watts and delivery, look at global power philosophies, and wrap up with the ultimate selection matrix.
Starting with Section 1, the great mAh deception. Let's look at why your massive battery is lying to you.
So, let's dive right in. Why does your 10,000 mAh power bank suck at its one and only job? You buy this hefty brick expecting endless juice for your phone. You do the quick mental math and think, hey, I should get 4 full phone charges out of this. But in reality, it barely charges your phone twice. So who exactly stole your power?
The primary culprit here is something called nominal voltage. You see that 10,000 mAh printed in giant, bold letters on the box? It only applies to the internal lithium cells sealed inside the casing, which operate at a nominal 3.6 or 3.7 volts. But here is the catch. Your devices absolutely do not operate at 3.7 volts. Standard USB demands at least 5 volts, and modern power delivery protocols can demand up to 48 volts. So that big number on the box is a total apples to oranges marketing trick. It's kind of like boasting you have 10,000 pesos in your pocket when the store only accepts euros. It completely ignores what your phone actually demands. To find out what you're actually working with, you have to look at the real math. True energy, measured in watt-hours, equals capacity in amp-hours multiplied by voltage. So a 10,000 milliamp bank running at its internal 3.7 volts is realistically just storing 37 watt-hours of total energy. That is the true physical size of your battery. The second we shift our analytical framework over to watt-hours, we instantly cut through all that marketing noise.
Moving to Section 2, where did my power go? It's time to talk thermodynamics and the DC-DC boost converter. So where does that missing energy physically go? It doesn't just vanish into thin air. Well, actually, it kinda does. Let's walk through exactly what happens the millisecond you plug your phone in. It's like a highly stressful diplomatic meeting happening inside the casing. First, your power bank's internal battery is sitting there speaking 3.7 volts. Second, your phone connects and demands 5 volts, or maybe even 9 volts. Third, to bridge this communication gap, a component called the DC to DC boost converter has to work massive overtime to artificially step up that voltage. And finally, thermodynamics kicks in. This process is hard physical work, and the converter literally sweats away your precious battery life as heat. Now, the quality of that converter changes absolutely everything. High-end 2026 power banks using gallium nitride or GaN components are incredibly well-engineered. They can salvage about 88 to 92% of that power during the conversion process. But those cheap budget models you randomly grab at the gas station, they routinely drop below 80% efficiency. They are throwing away a massive chunk of your power as pure heat. You're basically just buying a tiny, inefficient space heater that happens to charge your phone a little bit.
So what's the ultimate reality check here? When we factor in the painful physics of voltage conversion from 3.7 to 5 volts, plus an average 85% thermodynamic efficiency rate, your supposedly massive 10,000 mAh power bank realistically delivers an abysmal 6,290 mAh of usable charge. Bam! There it is! The great marketing illusion mathematically shattered.
Section 3. Mastering Watts and Delivery. Let's escape the trap with Power Delivery 3.1 EPR.
Now that we've totally escaped the mAh trap, we need to master the actual metrics that run our modern 2026 digital ecosystem. And that comes down to absolute energy and transfer speed. Think of watt-hours as the physical size of your fuel tank. It's the absolute stored energy you have to work with. On the flip side, watts represent the size of the hose that is forcefully pumping that fuel into your laptop. You obviously need a big tank to last you all day, but you also desperately need a wide hose to charge your heavy compute devices quickly. And let me tell you, that hose has gotten incredibly wide lately. With the new USB Power Delivery 3.1 extended power range spec, power banks can now push an astonishing 240 watts at 48 volts.
But safely pumping that much power requires a highly sophisticated battery management system, or BMS. This system uses a microcontroller to constantly perform real-time algorithmic negotiations with your connected devices. It's dynamically governing the output using the formula power equals voltage times current. It's essentially a brilliant little smart grid right in the palm of your hand.
How does that intelligent negotiation actually play out in the real world? Well, a modern multi-port power bank uses incredibly complex buck-boost architectures to partition power perfectly. If you have a 140-watt bank, it acts like a genius traffic cop. It can effortlessly send 100 watts to a demanding ARM-based laptop, simultaneously push 30 watts to an iPad, and trickle a totally safe 10 watts to your smartwatch, all at the exact same time without melting down or frying your gear.
Section 4. Global Power Philosophies. Let's see how regional geography dictates power engineering. But who exactly is building these smart grids? What's genuinely fascinating about this report is learning that the engineering philosophy inside your power bank is heavily dictated by the continent that built it. It's literal geopolitical engineering. The Americas focus heavily on rugged utility. They build these massive bricks that push right up to the 99.9 watt-hour limit, specifically so the TSA and global airlines won't confiscate them. And they're designed to sustain high-compute laptops. Europe, on the other hand, has a completely different focus: strict eco-compliance and a circular economy. They strictly adhere to EU battery directives using recycled materials and transparent life cycle screens. And Asia? They are aggressively pursuing hyper-fast charging and solid-state miniaturization. They're pushing proprietary 120-watt-plus charging protocols to get you fully powered up in minutes using GON-TAC. So your power bank's behavior tells you exactly where it was born.
Section 5. The Ultimate Selection Matrix. Here is how to future-proof your power purchases.
So how do we weaponize all this professional knowledge to ensure we never get fooled by a flashy box with a giant mAh sticker ever again? You use the Expert 2026 Selection Matrix. Discard the mAh rating entirely and strictly follow these 4 rules. First, cell chemistry. Prioritize early commercial solid-state batteries for way higher density and safety. Second, maximize your capacity right up to the 100 watt-hour global aviation limit. Get all the power you can legally fly with. Third, demand robust thermal architecture, like graphene heat spreaders. If it can't cool itself down, that BMS will heavily throttle your 140 watts down to a crawl. And finally, telemetry. Insist on a smart OLED screen that shows your real-time input and output wattage. If it doesn't have a screen proving exactly what it's doing, it's definitely hiding something. Applying this multivariable matrix guarantees you're acquiring hardware that is actually capable of withstanding the extreme compute requirements of the modern era. You aren't just buying a battery anymore, you are acquiring a sophisticated, high-end energy distribution node. The report leaves us with this very clear directive. By finally respecting watt-hours and watts, and by understanding the harsh thermodynamic realities of voltage conversion, professionals can easily escape the mAh marketing trap. You can finally command your mobile energy grids with absolute precision. So here's my final challenge to you. I want you to go grab your portable charger, flip it over, and look really closely at the fine print on the back right now. If it's still hiding behind a useless, outdated mAh number without telling you the real watt-hours or the output watts, aren't you ready to upgrade to real power? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious and please, stop letting marketing departments steal your energy.